There's a man in the house. There's money involved. And you know what that means. People will be looking for him. People with greed and avarice in their black hearts.
You found me the bastard.
I call on the Lord who is worthy to be praised, so I shall be saved from mine enemies.
We gather at the river, where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystals high forever.
What have you done?
Dear Lord, please forgive me.
You telling me you living all the way out here without even a horse?
And I have no intention of ever leaving.
These are hard men. They will kill us dead in the dirt.
Well, then we better kill them first.
Why don't I start by prying out one of them pretty front teeth?
Help me.
May the Lord have mercy on your soul.
You know, I'll kill you. You end the job. You are a hard woman, Pandora Meadows.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and I am here today with Corin Nemec, who plays Calhoun in the upcoming film, as of this recording, Place of Bones. How are you today, sir?
Doing great. Now, look, forgive me, but I have to say this. Heather Hurt?
Yes.
Was it painful?
You know, I get that a lot. And let me tell
had
you,
to say it.
as someone who is naturally a klutz, yes, it really, really hurts.
Well, hey, so was playing Austin Calhoun. It was very painful.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit about Calhoun. I'll just jump right into that. You had to lay on a bed almost the entire time.
Hey, now I got up out of that bed at a certain point. Now, you know, when I really, really had to. But I'm a lazy guy. I'm very lazy. I don't like, if I can get a couple of ladies to do as much as I can get them to do for me, I'll have them do it. Even if I got to eat the corn mush, I'll eat it.
Of course. But and of course, yes, you do. You do get up, and those final moments are pretty heavy, I'll say. But what was it like having to act in one position the entire time? How did you have to did you have to do anything special to keep yourself in that mindset?
It didn't feel like it to me, because it actually was really, really wonderful as an actor to be able to, to perform some material that isolates you and forces you to not to limit your behavior, to limit your choices. It actually created a whole new vista of opportunity and choices. And a wonderful opportunity as an actor to get to know a character when bringing a character to life, to the degree that literally I love this guy, Austin Calhoun, now. I mean, even my wife throws some of my lines at me all the time from the movie and stuff. You know, she's like, how things going for you? Things good today? Sorry. Not lately, or whatever. I'm sitting here choking.
No, you're good. It's dry out there. Gotta make sure you stay hydrated.
Yes, it was magical.
And speaking of that, the set itself, this was a very practical film. Speaking of like your atmosphere, your surroundings, do you like playing in practical films like this? Like one of the great things about the time period, about the simplicity of the film itself, from just like an outward perspective, it was very practical. Do you enjoy that?
Yes, the production design was done very well, and I know that this whole movie was on a tight budget, and between the producers, the production designer, the wardrobe department, wonderful makeup department, the casting. Let me tell you something. I'm absolutely amazed this film was made. I'm so happy it was made. It's so rare that you get a script that was written because you had to tell the story, which in my conversations with Richard Taylor is exactly what the story is with this. He just thought of it and he was like, I have to write this. He never even necessarily expected for the movie to ever be made in the history of his life, but he had to write the story. And I think that's why it sets itself aside from a lot of other Westerns and stuff that are more formulaic in a way, where there's a whole lot of moving parts, a whole lot of different things going on, way too many characters, everything, which is great. But this just boils everything down to its barest necessities, and the environmental conditions, being out in the middle of nowhere. What's more scary? Being in a Wild West town full of people, or out in the middle of nowhere in the uncharted regions of the Western territories that don't even have state names yet. To me, that's far more of a scary, precarious situation to be put in than being in a Western town. So it's the setting is a character in and of itself.
Of course. And I want to touch in on that, and then what you just said just now. You mentioned kind of the scariness element, and in some places you see that this is a thriller or a horror, which it really isn't until you get to those final moments. No spoilers, of course. But what were your feelings when you read that twist at the end?
Well, it's just it. It's, I don't think that there's been a movie that I've seen before or after The Sixth Sense that I watched where when I got to that aha moment and realized what's been going on the whole time, when I read this script, I was completely oblivious. And then got to that aha moment of what's really going on and was just absolutely floored, as much as anybody who's going to watch the film hopefully will be. And the pacing of it is wonderful. It's got a great pacing to it. And I keep saying, it's a mix of Hateful Eight meets Misery. That's what you're in store for as an audience member. You're in store for a wonderfully written Western movie that has the dynamics of misery, where you've got this, you're trapped in a place and you can't get out of it. But in this case, just like Hateful Eight, the end that's coming is the four horsemen of the apocalypse. It's death that's just over the horizon. So the build up to all of that makes the secret reveal of what's been happening behind the scenes the whole time so potent, so palpable, so mind-blowing that I do think that this is going to be a film that will end up with a life of its own, regardless of what anybody tries to do or tries not to do with it. It's going to end up with a life of its own.
Absolutely. And once again, that ending, if you get anywhere, that's going to be that life for sure. Let's talk about Calhoun for a little bit. Who was he to you when you first read him, and what mindset did you have to put yourself in to become that version of Calhoun?
Well, the script is so well written. Richard Taylor did such a great job creating this. There's enough material in there to get an idea of who these characters are. Now, the backstory is where all the blanks get filled in for me. What was his socioeconomic upbringing? What was his religious upbringing? What was his parental upbringing? What was his educational how far did he get in school? Did he ever go to school? When all of those things get answered, and real quickly, my answers for those were, he was born to a lady of the night who never knew who the dad was, and he was raised in tent cities, in the back of the brothels, and he grew up on the streets, but he was a good kid trying to do the right thing, saw how rich people lived, saw how you could be well off, just wasn't educated enough to do anything outside of it, so fell in with the cowboys and ended up living a life of crime. So, it was in figuring that out that you can find the humanity in this character, that it's not that he wants to be a bad guy. He just doesn't have any other choice because he's not educated and he doesn't see a way out of it. So that was the character development I had behind him, because you can't, as an anti-hero, you can't be unlikable, even though you're a thieving murderer. So, that's basically the character. He's a thieving murderer. He's murdered people and he's stolen from people. There's no real redeeming qualities left after that, So, but how do you find a character who's in his mind has justified all of the things he's ever done wrong? He's perfectly justified in his actions. He's not a bad guy. He's just roped in with some bad guys. So if they rob the bank and the teller gets killed, well, he didn't kill the teller, he just robbed the bank. So it's a wonderful mix of this, being bad but not believing that he's bad even though he's done bad things. So it's an interesting fine line to be able to walk there, where you want the audience to like this guy, but no, he's not likable. But for some reason, you just can't help it. It's like any movie Joe Pesci does, no matter how bad of a guy he's playing, you just want to snuggle him.
That is a perfect description. All right, last really quick question. What was your favorite moment, that one moment on set that it will be with you for the rest of your life?
Oddly enough, it's the dialogue that is not even, we shot it live, but it's scripted as voiceover, and it's my introduction of the bad guys. That was my favorite chunk of dialogue in the whole script, was talking about each of these bad guys. And they originally weren't going to shoot that. I was just going to do it voiceover. And so I talked to Audrey, and I know you guys aren't going to shoot or whatever, but we're already set for it. Let's roll it out so that the voiceover sounds like I'm the continuation, how it's scripted. And then if you guys ever had a chance to plan to cut back, which they didn't, that you'd have it. You'd at least have it. But I wanted the dialogue to just roll right through from what was, her question is, how many were there? 3. Can any of them track? 1. And then it goes over into Cherokee Jack, and it talks about all these guys, and that was just some of my most favorite descriptive dialogue I've ever gotten to do in my entire life. And I'm not even on camera for it.
If y'all haven't seen it, this is what y'all are getting in the movie, my friends.
placeofbonesmovie.com. Look it up, share it all over all your social medias. I am Corin Nemec across all the platforms. Google me, search me, Brave browser me, DuckDuckGo me, do all the things.
Absolutely. Corin, thank you so much for your time. Place of Bones arrives on digital on August 23rd. Thank you, sir, and you have a wonderful day.
You bet. You too. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.